Today we shall begin your first chapter of 7th Standard Social Science, the Vijayanagara Empire. In this chapter, you will learn the dynasties which ruled over Vijayanagara Empire, the contributions of these kings to political, social, economical field, and contribution to literature, art and sculpture. We shall also learn about the Battle of Talikota, also known as the Battle of Rakkasa Tangadi, which was the main reason for the decline of the Vijayanagara Empire, and the effects of the Battle of Talikota. Students, before we learn about the Vijayanagara Empire, we shall see the situation in India at the time the Vijayanagara Empire was established. As you all know, Karnataka had a very glorious past. Karnataka was ruled by a large number of kingdoms and dynasties like the Kadambas of Banvasi, the Gangas of Talakadu, the Chalukyas of Badami, the Rashtrakutas of Malkhed, the Chalukyas of Kalyana, the Hoysalas of Dwarasamudra and many others. However, during the 13th century, the Delhi Sultanate became very powerful. Alauddin Khilji was one of the most powerful rulers of the Khilji dynasty. He was the first Sultan of Delhi who conquered South India along with northern part of India. He sent his large army under his able general Malik Kafur to conquer the southern part of India. As a result, many South Indian kingdoms like Yadavas of Devagiri, the Hoysalas of Dwarasamudra, the Kakatiyas of Warangal, the Pandyas of Madurai and others were defeated. At that time, South India did not have any strong political kingdom. It was at this juncture or at this time that the Vijayanagara Empire succeeded in creating a strong political power as a solution for South India's political issues. The Vijayanagara Empire ruled for 3 centuries. The Vijayanagara Empire was founded in 1336 AD on the southern bank of Tungabhadra river by the sons of Sangama, called Harihara, Bukkaraya, Kampanna, Marappa and Muddappa. These 5 brothers, especially the famous among them being Harihara and Bukka, laid the foundation of the Vijayanagara Empire in 1336 on the banks of the river Tungabhadra. Hampi of Ballari district was their capital and their national emblem was boar, also known as Varaha. So the capital city of the Vijayanagara Empire was Hampi and their national emblem or symbol was boar. The Vijayanagara Empire was founded in 1336 on the banks of the river Tungabhadra. It was founded by Harihara, Bukkaraya, Kampanna, Marappa and Muddappa. Their capital was Hampi and their national emblem was boar. For 3 centuries, from 1336 to 1646, the Vijayanagara Empire was ruled by 4 dynasties called the Sangama Dynasty, the Saluva Dynasty, the Tuluva Dynasty and the Aravidu Dynasty. These 4 dynasties ruled over the Vijayanagara Empire for almost 310 years. We shall now see about the Sangama Dynasty. The Sangama Dynasty ruled from 1336 to 1485. Harihara was the first king of this dynasty. Harihara ruled from 1336 to 1357. He took control over the regions of Tungabhadra river. He extended his empire to Konkan coastal areas of west, to Nellore and Kadapa of east, to the Krishna river of the north and Kaveri river of the south. The first important ruler of the Sangama dynasty was Harihara. It was he who took control over the regions of the Tungabhadra river. He extended his empire from Krishna river in the north to Kaveri river in the south and from Konkan coastal area in the west to Nellore and Kadapa of the east. The next important ruler of the Sangama dynasty is Bukkaraya. Bukkaraya was the brother of Harihara. Since Harihara did not have his own children, Bukkaraya took over the throne. He took power after his death because Harihara had no son. During his rule, his son Kampana widened the kingdom by defeating the Sultan of Madurai. This was explained in a book called Madura Vijayam, which was written by Kampana's queen Ganga Devi. Kampana's queen Ganga Devi was a very famous writer. In a very famous book called Madura Vijayam, she has explained about how Kampana expanded the empire by defeating the Sultan of Madurai. After Bukkaraya, the Sangama Dynasty was ruled by Harihara II, Bukkaraya II, Virupaksha II, Devaraya I, and Veera Vijayaraya. These were not so important kings. After Bukkaraya, they ruled over the Sangama Dynasty. Now we shall see about the most important ruler of the Sangama Dynasty, known as Devaraya II. This Devaraya II is also known as Prauda Devaraya. He ruled from 1424 to 1446. He was the most famous king of the Sangama Dynasty. He defended the famous Mudugal fort at Raichur and Bankapur by fighting with Ahmad Shah of Bahmani Sultans. His brave commander called Lakkarna Dandesha defeated the kings of Kerala and Sri Lanka and collected treasure and tribute in cash from them. Prauda Devaraya, who had religious tolerance, built Jain and Vaishnava temples in the capital, and he permitted to build mosques also. Devaraya II is the most important king of the Sangama Dynasty. He successfully fought with Ahmad Shah of the Bahmani Sultans, and he defended the Mudugal fort, Raichur and Bankapur. He had a very brave commander called as Lakkarna Dandesha. This brave commander, he defeated the kings of Kerala and Sri Lanka and even collected treasures and tribute in cash from them. Prauda Devaraya was a king with religious tolerance, means he respected all the religions. He not only built Vaishnava temples, but he also built Jain temples also. He also permitted to build mosques. This shows that he was a king who had religious tolerance, or who treated all the religions equally. Because of his achievements, Devaraya II had many titles. He had titles like Gajaventagara. Gajaventagara means hunter of elephants. Since he was a very good hunter, he had the title of Gajaventagara. Then he also had the title of Chatusamudra Dishwara, but this title is still debatable by many historians. His next title was Ariraya Vibhada. Ariraya Vibhada means conqueror of enemy kings. Since he had defeated many enemy kings, he had the title of Ariraya Vibhada. After his death in 1446, his son Mallikarjuna and then Virupaksha III ruled over the Vijayanagara Empire. However, they were weak rulers, and because of this, a strong commander called Saluva captured the capital city of Hampi. The rule of Sangama Dynasty ended in 1485. After Devaraya II, the other kings were not so strong and powerful. His sons Mallikarjuna and Virupaksha III, though they ruled over the Vijayanagara Empire, they were not able administrators nor able rulers. Because of their inability, a strong commander by the name of Saluva Narasimha, he was able to capture the capital city of Hampi. Thus, in 1485, the Sangama Dynasty's rule came to an end. Now we shall see about the second dynasty that ruled over the Vijayanagara Empire. The first one was Sangama and the second one is Saluva Dynasty. The Saluva Dynasty ruled from 1485 to 1505. The first important ruler of this dynasty was Saluva Narasimha. Saluva Narasimha, he ruled for 6 years and died in 1491. He ruled from 1485 to 1491. His children were minors when he died, and because of this, kingdom was in the protection of a commander. Since when he died, his children were minors, means they were very small, and so to look after the kingdom there was no one. So at that time, a very powerful commander by the name of Tuluva Narasimha came, and he ruled over this dynasty from 1491 to 1503. We shall see about the third dynasty. The third dynasty was the Tuluva Dynasty. The Tuluva Dynasty ruled from 1505 to 1567. The Tuluva Dynasty's founder was Veera Narasimha. So Veera Narasimha was the founder of this Tuluva Dynasty. He ruled from 1505 to 1509. He ruled for 4 years. But the most important ruler of the Tuluva Dynasty as well as of the Vijayanagara Empire was Krishnadevaraya. So now we shall see about Krishnadevaraya. We shall now see about Krishnadevaraya. Krishnadevaraya is considered to be one of the greatest kings who ruled over the Vijayanagara Empire as well as Karnataka. Krishnadevaraya ruled from 1509 to 1529. He was the most famous and the greatest king among other Vijayanagara kings. In 1510, he seized or captured the Shivanasamudra fort from the Ummattur chief Gangaraja. Means Shivanasamudra was under the control of Ummattur chief Gangaraja. So in 1510, as soon as he came to power, he captured the fort of Shivanasamudra. Later he won the Raichur fort also. He supported Portuguese to capture Goa from Vijayanagara Sultan. The Vijayanagaras and the Sultan of Bijapur were not in good terms. They were enemies. So Krishnadevaraya, he supported the Portuguese to capture Goa from the Vijayanagara Sultan. Goa was under the rule of the Adil Shahis of Bijapur. So Krishnadevaraya, he helped the Portuguese to capture Goa from the Adil Shahis of Bijapur. In 1513, he won Udayagiri fort. Udayagiri is in modern day Nellore in Andhra Pradesh. In 1518, he captured Cuttack, the capital of Gajapati Prataparudra, a Kalinga king. In ancient days, modern day Orissa was known by the name of Kalinga and its capital was Cuttack. In 1518, Krishnadevaraya defeated the Kalinga king Gajapati Prataparudra and captured Cuttack. And then he married his daughter Jagan Mohini to maintain good relations with the Gajapati Prataparudra. In 1522, he recaptured Raichur from the king of Adil Shah, Ismail Adil Khan. Earlier, Raichur was under the control of the Vijayanagara Empire, but the Bijapur Sultan had captured Raichur from the Vijayanagaras. So, in 1522, Krishnadevaraya fought with Ismail Adil Khan, the Bijapur Sultan, and recaptured or took back Raichur from the Sultans of Bijapur. Later, he even captured Kalburgi and Bidar forts also. Krishnadevaraya got released, the son of king who was imprisoned by Bahamani Prime Minister, and restored him to power in Bidar. For this, he got the title Yavana Raja Pratishthapana Charya. Krishnadevaraya had invaded Gulbarga and captured it. He even invaded Bidar also and captured it. When he invaded Bidar, he saw that the Bahamani prince by the name of Sultan Muhammad was held captive in his own kingdom by the Prime Minister. As a goodwill gesture, he helped Sultan Muhammad to get back the kingdom. He installed him on the throne as the king of Bidar. So, as to commemorate this act of restoration, he got the title of Yavana Raja Pratishthapana, means the restorer of the Yavana kingdom, since he helped the king of Bidar to get back his own kingdom. On a goodwill gesture, he got the title of Yavana Raja Pratishthapana, which means the restorer or the one who has helped back to get the Yavana kingdom or the kingdom of the Bidar. Vijayanagara kingdom was expanded in all 4 directions at the time of his death in 1529. So by the time Krishnadevaraya died in 1529, the Vijayanagara Empire almost had extended the whole of South India. In the map that I have shown here, you can see the extension of the Vijayanagara Empire. by the time Krishnadevaraya ruled over Vijayanagara Empire. Domenico Pease, who visited his kingdom, stated Krishnadevaraya was a soft person with a strong body in his book. Domenico Pease was a very famous Portuguese traveler. He visited India during the rule of Krishnadevaraya. He has even called the city of Vijayanagara or the city of Hampi as the best city in the world, and Krishnadevaraya as one of the best kings in the world. After Krishnadevaraya, many small kings ruled over the Vijayanagara Empire, such as Achyutaraya and Sadashiva Raya. After that, Rama Raya of the Aravidu dynasty continued to rule over the Vijayanagara Empire. Rama Raya was the son-in-law of Krishnadevaraya. We shall now see about the battle of Rakkasa Tangadi or the battle of Talikota. Rama Raya of Aravidu dynasty, son-in-law of Krishnadevaraya, took over the whole responsibility of administration. His diplomacy expanded Vijayanagara kingdom and made it rich. The number of enemies also increased. Aliya Rama Raya, he was the son-in-law of Krishnadevaraya. He continued to rule over the Vijayanagara Empire. He was a very diplomatic king, and because of it, he was able to expand his kingdom and made even Vijayanagara Empire to be very rich. However, because of his good nature, he got a number of enemies. Deccan Sultanate were attacking Vijayanagara often. At that time, South India was ruled by the Deccan Sultans. They used to rule from Ahmednagar, Bijapur, Bidar, Golconda. These kings, they used to continuously attack Vijayanagara. To avenge, Rama Raya captured Vijayapura and Golconda, and this caused the war. To avenge means to seek revenge. Rama Raya, he captured Vijayapura, that is Bijapur in ancient times, and Golconda, and this led to the battle of Rakkasa Tangadi. All sultans united themselves with jealousy and hatred on the growth and richness of Vijayanagara kingdom. All the sultans of the south, the Sultan of Ahmednagar, of Bidar, of Bijapur, of Golconda, they all could not tolerate the growing popularity of the Vijayanagara Empire. So they all united together and they decided to attack the Vijayanagara Empire. They had political differences in between them, but to defeat Vijayanagara they united. This means that the sultans did not like each other. It meant that the Sultan of Bijapur did not like the Sultan of Bidar. The Sultan of Bidar did not like the Sultan of Berar. All the 5 sultans who were there, they did not like each other, but all together they united just to defeat the Vijayanagara kingdom. They let go their political differences just to unite the empire of Vijayanagaras. On 23rd January in 1565, the Rakkasa Tangadi war began between the united army of sultans and the army of Vijayanagara on the banks of Krishna river, and Rama Raya died in the war. All the 5 sultans together. Who were the 5 sultans? They were the sultans of Bijapur, of Bidar, of Berar, of Golconda. All the 5 together, they came and they attacked the army of the Vijayanagara, and on the banks of the river Krishna. In the battle, Rama Raya died. The sultans looted Vijayanagara. Tirumala and Venkata, sons of Rama Raya, who escaped from war, ran away to Penukonda. Later, Aravidu dynasty started their ruling from 1570 to 1646 by making Penukonda, Chandragiri and later Vellore as their capitals. The sons of Rama Raya were Tirumala and Venkata. They ran away from Vijayanagara and they went to a place called as Penukonda, and from Penukonda they began to separately rule over that place. By this, feudal chiefs of Mysore, Keladi, Chitradurga, Yelahanka and Surpur became independent rulers in Karnataka. With this, a strong empire in Karnataka came to an end. After the fall of the Vijayanagara Empire, the entire wealth of Vijayanagara was looted by the 5 sultans. This also led to the growth of many small feudal chiefs like the chiefs of Mysore, Keladi, Chitradurga, Yelahanka and Surpur. All of them, they slowly became independent rulers. Earlier they were under the Vijayanagara Empire, but after the fall of the Vijayanagara Empire, all the small feudal chiefs, they established their own independency and they began to rule as independent rulers. We shall now see about the cultural contribution of the Vijayanagara Empire. We shall first begin with administration. Vijayanagara Empire had a strong central administration and it adopted decentralized administrative system. You know, in India, administration is decentralized. Decentralized means it is subdivided. For example, our country is divided into states and states are further divided into districts. Our districts are divided into talukas and talukas are divided into villages. This subdivision of administration is called as decentralization of administration. Similarly, in the Vijayanagara kingdom, for administration region, the empire was divided into different groups. The kingdom was divided into provinces. Provinces were divided into regions. Regions were divided into cities and cities were lastly divided into villages. So, villages were the last unit of administration. The king's representatives were managing the provinces and hereditary officers were managing village administration. The king used to look after the entire kingdom. But to make administration more easy, he had appointed representatives. Those representatives used to look after the provinces or the states, and then to look after the villages there were hereditary officers also. The king was the supreme judiciary, means whatever the king took the decision, that decision was final. Regional officers were dispensing justice in provinces. At the provinces or at the state level, there were special justice officers and they were known as regional officers. Those regional officers would look after justice, means whenever there were any problems, they would solve those problems at the state level. We shall now see about the important sources of income. 1/6 of the land revenue was collected. So, whatever they used to grow, 1/6 of that was collected as land revenue. For example, if a farmer grew about 100 bags of rice, he had to give about 16 or 17 bags, that's about 1/6 of bags to the kingdom as tax. So, land revenue was a major income of the government at that time. Then apart from that, they had other form of taxes also, like they had trade tax, that is business tax, profession tax. Profession tax is those who used to do work like carpenters, cobblers, blacksmiths. They also had to give a certain amount of tax to the government. Then there were road tax. There was fair tax. Fair means this jatris and all, whatever they used to be held there. For that also tax was collected. Then there used to be tax for export and tribute in cash. People used to even contribute. Tribute in Kannada you call it as kanike. So even some people used to had to give certain amount as a tribute or as a contribution or as a donation to the government. So these were the important income sources for the kingdom. So what were the important sources? We'll revise once. The first important was land revenue. 1/6 of the total land revenue or whatever revenue they got from cultivating, that had to be given to the government. Then trade tax or business tax, professional tax, road tax, fair tax, export tax and tributes. These were the important sources of income to the king. We shall now see about the social status, means how was the life of the people in the society during the Vijayanagara period. During the Vijayanagara period, child marriage, sati system and Devdasi systems were in practice. Sati system is an ancient practice that was followed in ancient India. It means when a husband died and he was burnt, in the same fire the wife also had to die. This system was prevalent in ancient India. Devdasi system is an ancient religious practice wherein young girls are married to gods in a temple. These both systems are completely prohibited and banned today, but in those days they were practiced. Monogamy was in practice, but rich people and kings were following polygamy. Monogamy means marrying only once was a common practice that was there, but rich people and the kings were allowed to marry more than once. However, women were respected a lot in the society. Deepavali and Dasara were the important festivals that were celebrated during the Vijayanagara period. We shall now see about the economic status during the Vijayanagara period. Agriculture was the main occupation. Rice, maize, sugarcane and cotton crops were the major crops. So agriculture was the most important occupation of the people during the Vijayanagara period. They mainly grew rice, maize. Maize means meketene in Kannada, sugarcane and cotton. They used to mainly grow these crops. The kings of Vijayanagara encouraged agriculture through building tanks and wells. Agriculture was given a lot of importance in those days by the kings. To supply water for irrigation purpose for agriculture, the kings of the Vijayanagara, they built tanks and wells. They had trade links with other countries. India at that time, during the Vijayanagara period, they had trade links or they had business with not only other states but also other countries also. Rice, cotton clothes, iron, diamonds, sugar, musk, sandal and spices were exported. So India used to sell to other countries things like rice, cotton clothes, iron, diamonds, sugar, musk, sandal and spices. All these things were exported to other countries, or they used to be sold to other countries. In turn, we used to import, means we used to buy from other countries horse, silk clothes, makmal clothes. Makmal clothes is your muslin clothes, were imported. These things were brought from other countries to the Vijayanagara Empire. Vijayanagara was the international business center for diamonds. Cloth weaving was the important industry. During those days, Vijayanagara was considered to be an important center for diamonds. Vijayanagara was a very rich kingdom. It is said that even gold and diamonds used to be sold in the market areas during those periods. An important industry at that time was cloth weaving. Bhatkal, Honnavar, Mangalore were the important ports then. At that time, the people of the Vijayanagara kingdom would do business with other countries using waterways or through ships. So, the coastal port areas like Bhatkal, Honnavar and Mangalore were the important centers of business. During those days, gold coins were in use, and on these gold coins, they used to put the pictures of gods and goddesses were etched on these coins. Were etched means they used to be marked on these coins. We shall now see about the contribution of the Vijayanagaras towards literature. During the reign of Vijayanagara, literature of Sanskrit, Telugu and Kannada developed immensely. The rulers of the Vijayanagara Empire, they gave importance for the development of literature, especially in Sanskrit, Telugu and Kannada. We shall now see about some of the important poets and their literary works. Vidyaranya, a very famous Sanskrit poet, he wrote book Shankara Vijaya and Sarva Darshana Sangraha in Sanskrit. His brother Sayanacharya wrote books called as Vedhartha Prakasha and Ayurveda Sudhanidhi. It was not only these poets who used to write famous books. At that time, even the kings and their family members also wrote a number of books and poems. Among them, Ganga Devi, who was the wife of Kampana, wrote Madhura Vijayam. Then Devaraya II wrote a great drama called as Sudhanidhi. Krishnadevaraya, who was the greatest king of the Vijayanagaras, he wrote Jambavati Kalyana, Madalasa Charitam and Rasa Manjari. Kumaravyasa wrote a book called as Gadugina Bharata. Ratnakaravarni wrote Bharatesha Vaibhava and Chamarasa wrote Prabhulinga Leele. Kumaravyasa's Gadugina Bharata, Ratnakaravarni's Bharatesha Vaibhava and Chamarasa's Prabhulinga Leele are important literary works or are important books in Kannada. Apart from that, a few poets also contributed to Veerashaiva literature. Among them, the important are Lakkanna's Shivatattva Chintamani and Bhima poets Basava Purana. These two books are important contribution to Veerashaiva literature. So in literature, the important things to remember are, during the period of the Vijayanagaras, importance was given to Sanskrit, Telugu and Kannada. Vidyaranya was a very famous poet who wrote Shankara Vijaya and Sarva Darshana Sangraha. It was not only the poets, even the kings and their family members also have contributed to literature. For example, Ganga Devi wrote Madhura Vijayam, Praudadevaraya wrote Sudhanidhi, Krishnadevaraya wrote Jambavati Kalyana, Madalasa Charitam and Rasamanjari. Among the important literary works in Kannada, we have Kumaravyasa's Gadugina Bharata, Ratnakaravarni's Bharatesha Vaibhava and Chamarasa's Prabhulinga Lile. We shall now see about the contribution of the Vijayanagaras towards art and sculpture. The great historian Percy Brown, on observing the temples, monuments and sculptural statues, stated that art and sculpture of Vijayanagara was the evolutionary form of Dravidian style. Before the Vijayanagaras came, there were a number of very beautiful temples that were built in South India, especially the temples that were built by the Chalukyas of Badami, the temples that were built by the Cholas, the Pandya kings, the Cheras, the Rashtrakutas, the Hoysalas and others. But compared to everybody, the Vijayanagaras, they developed a most evolved form or a better form of the Dravidian style of architecture. Their temples stand even today as a testimony to the glorious period of the Vijayanagaras. The temples of that period were built with strong granite rocks. Most of the temples were built using granite rocks. Kalyana Mandapa of Virupaksha temple in Hampi, Hazara Ramaswamy temple, Vittala Swami temple, Krishna Swami temple, Kamal Mahal, Sringeri's Vidyashankar temple are some of the important temples which were built during their rule. The Vijayanagara kings, they gave lot of importance to art and sculpture, especially in building temples. Their most important temples are the Hazara Ramaswamy temple in Hampi, the Kalyana Mandapa of the Virupaksha temple in Hampi, the Vittala Swami temple, also known as Vijaya Vittala temple, the Krishna Swami temple, the Kamal Mahal and Sringeri's Vidyashankar temple. In this picture you can see the image of the Vijaya Vittala temple, the Hazara Ramaswamy temple and the Kamal Mahal. These are the important temples which were built during the Vijayanagara period. We shall now see about some of the special features of the architecture of the Vijayanagaras. Some of the special features were they had very spacious enclosures. Enclosures in Kannada you call it as Avarana. They had very big enclosures. Then they had very high towers. You can see here in the temple of Virupaksha, their towers were very high. Then they had very wide marriage halls or meeting halls. Here I have shown in a picture one of the meeting halls. And then they had these spring pavilions. Pavilions are shelter places or resting places in a garden or in a park. For example, Lotus Mahal was one of the spring pavilions of the Vijayanagara period. There they used to rest during the time of spring. So these are some of the features that we find in the architecture of the Vijayanagaras. Coming to sculpture, stone chariots, idols of Narasimha and Ganapati illustrate the monolith stone sculpture of the Vijayanagara reign. Monolith means out of one single big stone they have made that statue. That is called as monolith statue. The statue of Ganapati at Hampi, the idol of Narasimha and the stone chariots, they are very famous pieces of architecture of the Vijayanagara period. We shall now see about their contribution to music. Dakshinadi music, which is introduced now as Carnatic music, had reached even common people then. Carnatic music was very popular during the time of the Vijayanagaras. Purandaradasa and Kanakadasa have contributed a lot to this field. The most important people who have contributed to the field of music during the Vijayanagara period were Kanakadasa and Purandaradasa. These are some of the important dates that have been mentioned here, which you need to remember. So children, in this chapter, so far you have studied about the foundation of the Vijayanagara Empire, the four important dynasties that ruled over the empire, the important kings Devaraya II and Krishnadevaraya II, the battle of Rakkasa Tangadi, the contribution of the Vijayanagaras to administration, art and architecture, literature, economy and social conditions. So this completes your chapter.